Do you ever sit down and create a drawing using perspective and you're like, okay, well, this is pure torture? Know that you are definitely not alone. In this video, I'm going to break down 1, 2, and 3-point perspective, as well as isometric perspective, without making you cry, rage quit, or throw your iPad out the window, hopefully. Welcome to Mastering Perspective in Procreate without losing your mind. If you are on my email list, then you will know that a couple weeks ago, I asked you what things you struggle with the most when it comes to perspective. And most of you answered that you struggle with proportions and making things look right in the space. So that will be the main focus of today. But before we can get into that, we need to understand some of the basics of perspective drawing. Believe me, I know it feels complicated, because it is. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be using some of Procreate's built-in tools. So you don't need any rulers or protractors, but you can also utilize the same concepts with a pencil and paper. What does it mean to draw perspective, and what is it really? Perspective is a technique that artists use to essentially trick your brain into thinking that your flat drawing is three-dimensional. It is basically sorcery. You are creating an illusion of depth. Think buildings, streets, cubes, that long hallway in every scary movie. How the frustration usually starts. Let me guess. You open up your sketchbook or iPad and you start to draw a cute little cottage and it turns out like, meh. Don't freak out, Steve. Let's fix it. So in perspective, we start everything with a horizon line, and it's exactly how it sounds. It's where the sky meets the ground. It's also the view from your eye level. So let's start with 1-point perspective. Here are a few examples. Now, I think it's extremely beneficial to take a photo that you like and draw out the angles and trace them, but that is entirely up to you. The next term that we want to cover is your vanishing point. It's a point on your horizon line that everything converges towards. It's like when I see a dog sitting alone at a party, I'm like, that is where I need to go. And then these diagonal lines guide the eye back towards the vanishing point. They help to establish the correct angle and depth of the object in the space. Lines that are horizontal and vertical in real life stay that way on your drawing. Only the lines that move away from you into the distance will go towards the vanishing point. So how to use 1-point perspective in your drawing. So for example, if you're drawing a road, then the outer edges of that road will angle towards the vanishing point. The farther away something is, the smaller it appears. And the closer it is, the larger it looks. This effect creates a realistic sense of depth. When to use 1-point perspective? You'll use it when you're looking directly at the object or the scene. So think like the inside of a room or train tracks or a street view. This works best when all of the elements are aligned and facing the same direction. So one common mistake is people tend to place the vanishing point too close to the edge of the canvas or too far from where the object is centered. And this can often make the object look distorted. Another issue is forgetting that only the lines that go backwards into space are the ones that should be angled. Horizontal and vertical lines should remain straight unless you're purposely distorting the perspective. But if your subject is turned at an angle, then you'll likely need 2-point perspective instead. So what is 2-point perspective? 2-point perspective depicts objects or scenes at an angle rather than straight on. This method is ideal for showing how objects appear when they are rotated. It's like viewing the corner of a building instead of the front. Just like in 1-point perspective, you have the horizon line, but in 2-point perspective, you have 2 vanishing points. They are usually far apart, and your diagonal lines will look like this. The key difference in 2-point perspective is that only the vertical lines will stay vertical. There are no horizontal edges in the object because those lines are now angling towards the vanishing point. While 2-point perspective might be more complicated, it gives a more dynamic and realistic feel to the object. Some common mistakes to avoid: don't put your vanishing points too close together. This will create a really distorted and unnatural look, and your objects will appear pinched. Next, we're going to tackle 3-point perspective. It creates a very strong sense of depth and height. So think really extreme angles, like standing on a street and looking up at a skyscraper, or standing on the top of that skyscraper and looking down at the cars below. Just like in 1 and 2 perspectives, we will start with the horizon line, and then similar to 2-point perspective, we will put 2 vanishing points on that horizon line, but then this time we will add a 3rd vanishing point either above or below the horizon line. You'll place it above the horizon line if you are seen as looking up, and below the horizon line if you're seen as looking down. Unlike the previous perspectives, there are no horizontal or vertical lines. Every line is angled to show depth and height. 3-point perspective is best used when you want to show extreme angles and exaggerated depth. Here are some common mistakes to avoid. Try not to place the 3rd vanishing point too close to the main object. This can make the drawing feel really warped. Next, we're going to talk about isometric perspective. It's a type of parallel projection used to represent 3-dimensional objects on a 2-dimensional surface. Unlike 1, 2, or 3-point perspectives, isometric drawings do not use a horizontal line or vanishing points. Instead, all lines remain parallel and the proportions of the object stay consistent regardless of their position in space. Because all dimensions are scaled equally, objects don't appear to shrink as they go back into space. So this allows the viewer to see multiple sides of an object at once. It is especially useful when you want to show how parts fit together or explain spatial relationships without any distortion. Some common mistakes to avoid: do not mix with any kind of vanishing point techniques. Another issue is misjudging the 30-degree angle, which can throw off the structure of the entire drawing. Keep in mind, if you're using Procreate, you can use the program's built-in features to help simplify the entire process. You'll go up to the wrench icon, because obviously we're mechanics, go to Canvas, turn on the drawing guide, then choose Edit Drawing Guide, and from there you can use Procreate's isometric and perspective features and even add your own vanishing points. Like learning any new skill, perspective drawing takes a lot of practice to figure out, and I still get super confused. Be sure to be patient with yourself and don't get discouraged. If this tutorial helped you, please give this video a like and let me know in the comments if you tried any of these techniques. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.